Uh-oh, spaghetti-o. What do we have here? I've got some drip irrigation parts in this bag and stuff. And I've got a pipe here. Look at that. I've got to connect that up. And this is a drip irrigation main pipe. And if you want to see how I'm going to fix that, stick around. Now you may be wondering, how did I get up to here? How did I troubleshoot it and all that kind of stuff? Of course I made a video of that too. You can go to my YouTube channel page, click on playlists and scroll down to landscape issues or drip irrigation, and you can find all about it to see how we get up to here. Okay, I'm back at it. I'm back from the store. I've got some parts here. I've got some other parts in the bag, and here's the coupling that I have. See, this is called a slip coupling. See how it kind of dips in on the front side, on both sides. And this is 5/8 compression coupling. Let's see if you can see that. 5/8 compression. Okay, and believe it or not, they've got, not all drip irrigation pipes are the same. You know, I went to the store and remember I was telling you before, if you had seen that previous video clip, some drip irrigation pipes are 3/4 inch, some are 5/8, and believe it or not, I believe some are 1/2 inch. Now I've never seen any 1/2 inch ones before, but that's why when I cut that little piece out of there, I measured it and wanted to make sure I got the right piece at the store, okay? The right size, because you don't want to just pick up a 5/8 coupler and come back and find out, oh, it's too small, it's too big, or whatever. Okay, so time to get busy once again. Hope you join me. Okay, I told my mother I had to be somewhere about 2 o'clock or had to get ready, and it's 12:30 now, so I'm hoping to finish this, and she was reminding me about that. Okay, my coupling's here, and I want this all nice and clean on the outside. And there's a little bit of water inside the pipe when I dip it down. And you see this here, I can put it on there, and I think I want to make this gap a little bit bigger. Okay, just a little bit, but I think even that I could probably make it work, you know, without cutting it any bigger. I'm gonna make it just a hair bigger. I've got some tin snips, some sheet metal snips, and I got some Weiss tin snips too. I might be able to do it with that, but because I've got these other ones, I'm gonna snip it off. I'm just gonna, like I said, I'm just gonna make it a little bit bigger. I'm gonna cut off another 1/4 inch or so. Okay, that's all. I believe I can do it with that, because I think this slides in all the way. Okay, and so it doesn't matter whether or not I have a 1/2 inch there, 3/4 of an inch, or whatever. Okay, I'm trying to dry this off a little bit. I shouldn't have really gotten any water on it. It doesn't really matter on that, but I'm just going to mark it with a felt tip pen. I'm going to kind of hold this about in the middle. I'm eyeballing it, and I see I need this end to go in that far, about there, and so I'm going to put just a felt tip marker on there, like that, and that'll kind of give me an idea of how far this one should go. Okay, That's why, that's the only reason why I dried that off. Okay. And on these, I've done one of these before, just recently, for mother in her front yard. She just happened to have an area that needed to be repaired. So I know these, it's hard to push on and twist it on for some reason. If you kind of walk it back and forth, you can get it on there easier. Let's just see here. Let's just see. Make a liar out of me, huh? Okay, there. See, it seems like it won't go, but then you just play with it a little bit and it will go. Okay, I got it right where I need to be. Now, on this, I can just lift these two up like that and kind of get it going. And it's a coupling sleeve, see? And so, if I just kind of walk it down there like that, there we go. Okay, that's it. No leaks. That will not leak later on. Can you believe that? It's kind of hard to put on there. You just kind of work at it a little bit and walk it on, just like I showed you. Okay, and that's as good as new. Now I've got to fix this, and this has been on here. This used to be an old one, obviously, and before, the reason why I had to cut that out was because there was another one of these. It was the 16th or 8th inch stuff. This was the old one, and it snapped off the pipe. This little pipe was in here, and I was digging around it, and it snapped right off, and the coupling on the back side, the end of the coupling, was right in the pipe. And for me to have put something else in there, it would have pushed that other little thing inside there, and it could have gotten stuck somewhere. So I wanted to get that out of there. Okay, and so I snipped it out. I'll show it all in that other video. If you watch it, you'll find it. And this one, and so that one went up in there. It got cut off. The landscaper guys, see, this was here. This was up in there, and it was cut, and it was up above the ground. And this one was up above the ground, and this one fit right in like that. And this was underneath here, watering the plant. And when they were cutting the bush, sometimes, you know, you got to be careful when you're trimming, you know, round off bushes and stuff. They're round down here, and if you get a drip irrigation pipe just sticking up out of the bottom a little bit, their snippers can cut it off, and that's what happened. So, okay, I got that fixed, and now instead of putting something else, because this one was here and because it was capped off, they weren't using it for anything. I'm going to use it. And see, you can cap something off this way. I'm just using some electrical cutters to cut that off. You see there? If you don't have an end, you could do that. You could take a little wire there. This has been on there, oh, I don't know, 20 years. It's all rusted. And as long as you just kink the pipe, as long as you have something on there, it will stay. Okay. That's all it was. Okay. And so I've got some other tubing. I happen to have another little piece of tubing, and this was a flag dripper. This was a flag dripper, and years ago that's what they used all the time before they started using regular bubblers. Okay, I'm not going to use that. I'm going to decide not to use it, but I can keep it in case I ever need it. If it's working, this could be 20 years old too, and you would turn it. You could turn this to turn it on and off And that was what a flag dripper, that's what a flag dripper was years ago. Okay, so that probably still works, but I'm choosing not to use it. Okay, so I'm just gonna cut these ends off, because I happen to think this piece is long enough, and here the landscape guy had done it again from years ago, see right there? And that's why they capped it off. They just capped it off. And you see, this pipe is probably plenty long for me to connect onto this pipe, right? So I'm gonna grab my little bag of goodies here, and I should have some couplings. Yeah. Here's my couplings, and in fact that bag has never been opened. I wonder if I have a bag that's already open with couplings in it. Maybe not. Alright, I'll cut that one. I'll cut that one open. These are called barbed connectors. And so, come on. It's not. I was trying to keep it so I could, you know, sometimes if you don't know what something is later on, you might want to read here, but if you rip it off, you can't see it forevermore. Okay, so, but I know what they are. And these are designed for 1/4-inch tubing. That's all it is. Is a little coupling, and so I'm going to take it and put it on there and kind of twist it on there. And this pipe is pretty old. I could have taken my pliers and grabbed it and then done it like that. Okay, and I'm going to take this one and do the same thing. All I'm doing is extending the same pipe. Okay, that's it. And that's going to be plenty long for me to get it up in there, and I'll rearrange it and stuff, and I want to see, I think, you know, for the sake of argument, I think I'm just gonna put the bubbler on the end. And I've decided to put there's another bubbler there, so I am going to put a 1-gallon bubbler on there, okay? And when you look at these, I don't know if you can see that, but it says 1 GPH pressure compensating dripper. And they have 1/2 gallon, they got 1 gallon, they got 2 gallon, and there's another dripper underneath this bush, okay? So, and that one's probably a 1 gallon. A bush about this big could probably take like a 2-gallon dripper, okay? But because it already has one, I'm gonna put a 1-gallon dripper on there. Does that make sense? And here's what the little dripper looks like. See, it's just gonna drip out of there, and I'm just gonna poke the pipe into that. Let's see, I'll show you how big that bush is. It's pretty big. Okay. And I'm just gonna put this on the end of this, and I'm gonna twist it on there. And you know what? Maybe before I do that, I can turn the water on and make sure there's nothing in this line. Like when I cut that, before I cut it, and after I cut it, if it got any dirt in there or anything like that, when I put water in here, if there's anything in this line, it could shoot up through this pipe and get caught in my bubbler, right? So if I just leave the bubbler out and turn the landscaping water back on, let's say, we're it'll flush that out. Okay, I'm going to do that real quick. Be right back. Okay, so when I get back, water should be pouring out of there. I'm going to turn the water on and run back here and let you see that. And while that is streaming out, we'll take a look at that coupling fitting for you to see that there won't be any leaks on there at all if you install it right. Okay, that's coming up next. Okay, see? There it's coming right out there. And we look down here and look at that. There's no water coming out of that. If anything, there's a little water dripping out of that because that's been in there years ago on that coupling, but I don't really care about that. It's only a little bit, and if anything, it's going to help water this plant here, okay? So I know nothing is coming out of there, so I'm going to run back and turn that off, put that dripper back on there, okay? Oh, that's funny too. I could have just put the bubbler on there with the water coming out so that you would have seen how to do that. If you're ever doing a repair and you're checking things out and the water's coming out and you've got a plugged up bubbler and you want to fix the bubbler and take the old bubbler off and put a new one on, you can do that with the water still on for the drip irrigation. Okay, but since I turned the water back off, I'm going to go ahead and backfill all this stuff up and leave this one piece out. I'll turn the water back on so you can see that I can in fact put that bubbler on the end of that with the water going. Okay, so I'm going to take all the dirt that I had, and before I did it, you see here all this the landscape bark she's got everywhere. Before I dug that out, I slid the bark over before I piled up the dirt on both sides. Then when you get all done, you can push all the dirt back in, and then you can rearrange the bark as best you can, because the idea is when I get done, I don't want anybody to know I was ever here. Do you see what I mean? So when initially I tried to find some other drip bubblers to see if there was anything else for this bush. I got down on my hands and knees. I pulled all the bark away from it, and I kind of did some trimming. So I want to push all the bark back around here, make it all look nice. Take out all the roots. Look at all the roots that I had in this area. I think there was an old plant right here too, and maybe that's why they had 2 or 3 different bubblers in this area, but there's no plant there now. So I'm gonna clean all this stuff up and backfill it properly and all that kind of stuff, so that you can see what it looks like, you know, on how you should leave things when you get done. Then what I'm going to do is put the bubbler back on. I'm going to shove that into the bush, and I'm going to leave it up inside the bush a little bit. There's no need at this point to run it down below and see. Years ago, this is what they used to do. They used to take a little stake like this, okay, and push that down, and then they would slide the pipe down to whichever little hole it fit on, and then they would tie it down and do that. You would push this down into the landscaped area, and this would be up off the ground a little bit. As it was, I had to dig a little bit to find this because it was all covered up with bark and stuff that gets shoved in there later on. But now I'm just gonna save all the parts that I didn't use, put in my bag of goodies and stuff, and I might end up using that later somewhere. But for here, I'm just going to rearrange it up in there when I get done, so it's up inside the bush and where it's poked properly, so it can just be dripping from there. See what I mean? All right. Stick around so I can show you a little bit more. The more you watch, the more you learn. Okay, got the water back on, and I'm just gonna put this bubbler on here. The pipe I used hasn't been used for a while. Now see, that's how a 1 gallon bubbler should work. Drip, 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 drip. See there? Okay. So Now all I have to do is get it underneath that bush. Put my gloves back on. And I think that's going to be enough, because like I said, there is in fact another bubbler under here. Okay, so now I can put it up in there, and the other bubbler is just right over in here, and so this one is long enough. I'm going to just pooch it up. And take another quick look at that, and it's up above everything. It's dripping fine, and I'm going to leave it. And you know, that other dripper that I was seeing, is not dripping any water, and it's an old one, and I don't think I can get it to work. And I'm not even sure if it's hooked up to anything. I didn't dig the other pipe out further underneath here, because I was making the assumption that one was dripping too. I can look at this again if I need to, but where this pipe connection was, it was dripping slightly at the coupling. So I know a little bit of water is dripping there, not very much, and then the 1 gallon dripper is dripping underneath, and I put it on the other side. And it's going to kind of run this way, because this is kind of coming up at a slope a little bit. I think a 1 gallon dripper, and that should be plenty. Okay. Now, if you had a question for a bush that big, I think a 1 gallon is fine. But if you feel you want to put a 2 gallon there, you could. But I'm deciding against it. Okay, well, that's all I'm going to do today. And I still have this issue with this bubbler right here. You see that? That's probably a 2 gallon dripper, and it could be even more than that. And it's dripping right out here. And so next time I'm going to take a look at this other bush over here, see if it's got any water. Figure out what to do with that. I may have to relocate that over to there. And the funny thing is, it's not funny. I thought it was the wind. I turned the bubblers on. It's always good to turn your bubblers on and then check out your lines a little bit. See this bubbler line? It should actually be covered up. And isn't that cute? The landscapers, they put this little bubbler right there with the sprayer. They didn't have to do that. That would have been okay to just put a bubbler, a regular 1 gallon bubbler. Okay, but this is going up here, and you see here's one going to nothing, and it was probably once upon a time directed up towards the top of where the big huge redwood tree is, so then the water can go down. And you see here's another one of those old time bubblers, and it got snapped off. This one's been snapped off. It's not even, in fact, look at that. It's snapped off, and I'll bet you it's on a line that's broken somewhere. So lucky for me, it's kind of up high. So every once in a while you can check your bubblers, because you shouldn't have any exposed lines. Now see here's one of those flag drippers. It's right in the middle of nowhere. It should be either over there or it should be here. And I see an old, nope, I don't see it. Okay, so there's some more stuff I should do, but I'm hearing some noises, and it sounds like there's a leak somewhere underneath one of these bushes. You hear that noise? Listen to that. It sounds like sounds like it's right in here. And see, here's the pipe. And it's just going like full steam ahead. And that's something. I know it's coming off that pipe. You want me to, maybe I should spend a couple seconds here. I really don't have time to fix anymore. And I'm just curious now what is causing that. I can hear it. I'm not sure if you can hear it on the video camera or not. Let's just see, the line is right, it's just right here. Come on. Ah, it's right here. And it's facing down. Yep. It's right there. Isn't that something? And I was thinking when I was at the hardware store, should I get another coupling or not? I didn't get another coupling. You see there? Look at that. Yep. It's right at the bottom. It's right at the bottom of there. And if I had a plug, I could plug it. But chances are it's going to be best if I cut that out and put another slip joint connector in there. And the slip joint connectors don't cost that much. So it was only $1.15 or so at the store. Okay. So, isn't that something? It seemed like it was a pinhole on the bottom. And I'm feeling it. And it could be an old line that snapped off, and the little piece could be the tip of the coupling could be in there, and that's my guess. And so I believe I'm going to have to get another one of those couplings and put there. Okay. All right. Time for me to say goodbye. Hopefully you've learned some good stuff on this video series.